What's new in MIUI 12 version 12.0.0.9 based on Android 10 running on the Redmi K20 Pro? Hey peeps, what's up? Munchie here, back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to show you what is new in MIUI 12.0.0.9 based on Android 10 running on the Redmi K20 Pro. Now do note, at the time of recording this video, this build is in a closed beta, which means the only way you can install it is through a custom recovery. I do have the link for the full ROM in the description of the video in case you are interested in trying out this build. Now when you boot this build for the first time, you will notice that if you have an unlocked bootloader, you do have an unlock lock on the top of the screen signifying an unlocked bootloader, and then you also have the MIUI 12 boot animation. Next up, once you are on the home screen, we'll first go into settings and about phone, and here it is. You can see that I am in fact running MIUI 12 stable 12.0.0.9 based on Android 10 on the Redmi K20 Pro. If you swipe to the left, you will see that we do have App Vault, but this is the old version of App Vault which used to come with MIUI 11. So the version of App Vault which is present in MIUI 12 China beta builds did not make its way to this global build of MIUI 12.0.0.9. Next up, out of the box, it does come with Poco Launcher, and as you can see, the animations are as good as shit. I mean, have a look at them, they just end abruptly. There are no full animations. Crappy job by Xiaomi, I should say. Then, because it is Poco Launcher, you do not even have the new animated icons which they talked about in the MIUI 12 global presentation. Here it is. If you press on the settings icon and then try to go back, you can see that it is not animated. Same applies for the gallery icon as well. None of the icons here are animated, and it is a launcher thing, but I personally do not understand why the heck on earth are they still using Poco Launcher. Next up, we can try opening the recents, and there it is again, the laggy animations. And you might say that this is a beta build, but trust me, the Chinese build and the global build for the Mi 90 Pro is much better in terms of animations. Anyways, coming back to this build, you do not have the option of floating windows on the top left. You still have the option of split screen. Now you can find the option for floating windows if you go into settings, and then you can go into special features, floating window. Here it is. They do give you a tutorial on how to activate floating windows, but me personally, I could not activate floating windows on this build. Now either I am a noob or floating windows is not working on this build. Next up, we do have the new UI. So if I go into settings, and then if I go into about phone, go into storage, you can see the cool animations which they added with MIUI 12. And if I tap, it will show me that where on the graph I am right now. So those new UI and new animations are present, but the default launcher animations are shitty as hell. Next up, we can go into connection and sharing, and then we can go into cast. So they have added the option of universal cast along with the privacy option wherein you can hide your private items, which is not going to display a floating notification of incoming calls and other private items on external monitors when you are casting the display of your phone to any other television or an external monitor. Moving over to always on display and lock screen. Well, you do not have AOD theming, and I know it's a bummer, but nothing you can do about that. However, if you go into lock screen clock format, you do have a fourth option of a lock screen clock format, and this is how it looks like. Then we can go into display. If you go into brightness level, again the option of sunlight mode is missing over here. Reading mode is present. Contrast and colors and anti-flicker mode still has the old UI. You do have dark mode 2.0 in the building, works absolutely fine. The option to adjust the wallpaper to dark mode also works, along with support for third-party applications. This is also present, and you can also adjust the contrast automatically, and this option also works absolutely fine. Going into system font, the default font which is present in this build is Roboto font. So the Mi Lanting or Mi Lansing, whatever the name of the font was, is yet to be seen. In text size, you still do not have the option of dynamic fonts, something which was supposed to be added in MIUI 11, but you know how Xiaomi is. Then in status bar, you do have the option of disabling the control center. So yes, the cloned iOS style control center is present. And if you swipe from the right hand side, it is going to open the control center. If you swipe from the left, it is going to open your notifications. Now, once you're in control center, you do have the animated icons in the control center. So if I put my phone into airplane mode, there it is. You can see the airplane just took off and came back real quick, and again there is the animation working absolutely fine. Now in case you do not like your iOS cloned control center, you can always disable it, and in that case you will have the old school or MIUI 11 notification style back. Next up, we can go into sound and vibration. These are the different options which you get. The option of sound assistant is missing. Now this option of sound assistant would let you control the volume in different applications separately. So it's like per app volume control, and again that feature is only present in MIUI 12 China builds. Going into notifications, same old, and home screen of course is your shitty Poco Launcher. Won't even talk about that. Moving over to wallpapers. So again, the old UI, old style. If you're looking for super live wallpapers, you need to open wallpapers, go into my page, tap on wallpapers. Here it is, super wallpapers in the building. Some of the text though is still in Chinese. And have a look at this super cool funky font style by Xiaomi, super and wallpapers. The P is in caps. I don't even know what to say about that. Anyways, we can now go over to the themes application. Again, the old themes application. The build from China has options on the top where you have options to change your dynamic wallpaper, fonts, icons, and of course always on display theming. So we have to stick with the MIUI 11 themes application for now. And in password and security, you do have face unlock and fingerprint unlock working absolutely fine. Privacy protection, this is like kind of half baked situation over here. So you do have the permission notification option wherein you can receive an alert in the status bar when apps access your location, record audio, or take photographs. However, what is missing from here is the notification log. Now in MIUI 12 China builds, you have the option of notification log, and once you tap on that, it is going to show you all the notifications. Well, that feature did not make its way to this build running on the Redmi K20 Pro. In battery and performance, yes, again, you do have the new UI. Ultra battery saver mode did make its way over to this build. If you tap on battery usage stats, you do have the option of different views. So either you can view it like this or a bar graph. And of course, I think you can change the duration of the time over here as well to see what app was draining more battery during a specific time in case you are into those minute details. Moving over to additional settings and full screen display, you do have the option of full screen gestures. However, we do not have the Android 10 gestures in this build, and again, this is like very irritating and shameful from Xiaomi because the Xiaomi Mi 90 Pro build of 12.0.0.8 has Android 10 gestures, so I'm not sure why it is like such a big issue for Xiaomi to implement the same gestures here on the Redmi K20 Pro when they are essentially the same devices. Moving over to button shortcuts, again, we do not have the option of partial screenshots. You do have three finger screenshot, but that's been there ever since. And of course, you can launch your Google Assistant if you swipe from the either edge, and this feature is working absolutely fine. And surprisingly, instead of screen time, we have digital well-being and parental controls. So in MIUI 11, they have Xiaomi's own implementation of digital well-being. Surprise, surprise, in this MIUI 12 build for the Redmi K20 Pro, they have Google implementation of digital well-being and parental controls. Now, I do not have anything against Google's implementation, but come on Xiaomi. Moving over to special features. You do have Game Turbo, and this is how it looks like, and we also have video toolbox, something which I'll show you a demo of. So let's enable it for some application. We can enable it for, let's say, the gallery application. If I can find it, here it is, gallery application. And now open the gallery application, swipe from the left. Here is your option of video toolbox, and you can of course record your screen, screenshot, cast, play videos, and of course here it is. Oh, so this is how you access floating windows. To access floating windows, for now you need to access them by enabling video toolbox. So this is the only way which works to enable floating windows on this MIUI 12 build. Going back into special features, you do have floating windows and we just saw how to activate them. Then you have second space, but light mode is missing from this build. And now we can move over to the applications. So file manager, old version, MIUI 11 build. Next up, you have the security application, half-baked. The animation here is new, but you do not get the utilities tab which you get in MIUI 12 China. Moving over to the clock application. The clock application is also the old one. So the one from MIUI 12 has text on top. We still have the icons on top. So again, old app. Camera application, still the old one. We do not get the new camera application which lets you theme it and take a picture with the screen off using the volume rocker. That camera app did not make its way over here as well. Next up, gallery application. Again, half baked. So if you take a picture with sky in it, tap on edit, tap on the sky option, and you do have the option of dynamic filters. And let's download this one. Make sure you're connected to the internet, and then we will get the twilight effect on the picture which we just took, and it will be saved as a video. So this feature is present over there. However, the feature which is missing is the video editor. So MIUI 12 China builds have a full-fledged video editor. That option is missing. And other option which is present is the security feature. So if I try to share this picture, you can see that I can share it without any location info and without any metadata by default. You can of course change this option if you go into the gallery settings and scroll down and tap on secure sharing. You can disable the option from here. Next up, we can have a look at the weather application. So the weather application is the new one, and you do get the new UI in the weather application. And last but not the least, let's talk about the calendar application. So the calendar application does have the new cards which they talked about in the MIUI 12 global presentation. We can also open the OpenGL extension application, and your driver date is 9/10/19, so still have the old drivers over here. As for the benchmark scores, here are the benchmark scores on your screen right now. And if you ask my opinion about this build, it's not even worth shit. It's like a pretty crappy build, and I know a lot of you will be like, hey Manchi, this is the first beta build, but trust me, the build which Xiaomi Mi 90 Pro got is any day better than the build which the Redmi K20 Pro is getting. The only downside of that build is that you have the Google phone and messaging application. That's it. Other than that, I think that build is any day superior than the crappy build which we have here with Poco Launcher. That will do it for this video, and that was our first look at MIUI 12.0.0.9 based on Android 10 running on the Redmi K20 Pro. And hope my video helped you. Likes, shares and subscribes are appreciated. Feedback and comment more than welcome. See you when I see you.